Hello guys, this is Bismarck and welcome back to a session on RxJava operators. Today, we will have a closer look at a sample operator in RxJava and how it is used. One will ask, what is a sample operator? A sample operator is just like any other operator in RxJava that emits the only emits only the most recent items of an observable in a periodic time interval. Okay, it emits an observable in a periodic time interval, and the observable should be, or the items that it emits should be the most recent one. So knowing this, in my last tutorials, I have a tutorials on an operator called debounce, and the debounce operator also behave like the sample operator. With the debounce, if you had a look at the video or you watch the video I released, you could realize that with the debounce operator, we use an example. An example that we used was a click, or we use a searching example. And we realize that when we are using a debounce operator, mostly when the user is typing, okay, for example, the user is typing something like, how are you? In this sense, if you are using a debounce operator, and let's say we are giving a timer 1 second, okay, 1 second as a timer to the debounce operator, what will happen is when the user start typing how are you, immediately the user finishes typing the how are you, the sentence, then the debounce operator, this is how it works. It will wait for 1 second to see if there's no rapidly followed emission, then it will emit the how are you for you, then you use it for what you want to use it for. Okay, but in the sample operator we are coming to look at in this tutorial, the difference is that the difference between the sample and the debounce operator is that for the sample operator, once the user starts typing how are you, immediately the user starts typing how are you, then the timer has already started at the start. So anytime within the typings and the user, anytime within the typings, for example, if let's say the timer given to the user was 2 seconds, okay, 2 seconds like this, and the user finish, as the user is typing within the 2 second frame, the sample operator will emit the items that was gathered within the 2 second frame and emit it. Okay, the understanding is quite tricky, but it's simple to understand. Let's move on. Let's start with the coding and see how we can know how the debounce operator actually works like. So let's first create our method. Void sample operator. Okay, and this is our method. So let's look at these items. So for example, we are going to use integers. This array of items, okay, and in this array of items, we have these items like 1, 2, or let's say 12, 12, 13, 4, 6, 7, 8, 2, 5. These random numbers, we have them, and we want the sample operator to release the most recent item, okay, the most recent item immediately after the timer given to the sample operator. And this is what I mean. So we have observable dot from. Let's use other time. I explain the reason why I would like to use range, so that we will emit, or we will have just each of the items within the array. Okay, so we start from 0 to array dot length. Okay, then let's try to map. Let's map them. Let's map this. I've explained this in the last tutorial, how the reason why I always do this. We map this using our function integer. Then we return okay, so we return array of integer, and the integer here is the indexes. Okay, the index. Now we can use our sample. Okay, so we can use our sample operator, and let's give it 2 for every 2 seconds. For every 2 seconds, it should give us the items. Okay, so so we subscribe this, and the results. Okay, let's collect the subscription. Okay, so this is what we want to do. Now let's print the results. Okay, so let's run this, and let's see what you will get. We realize that it's going to wait for 2 seconds, it's going to wait for 2 seconds, and it will emit the recent one. And what we will see is that using the sample operator, we are getting the complete. Okay, let's print the complete, so that we will have a clear understanding of what is going on. So this is where, when there's an error, it will show and incomplete. Okay, so let's print the error. Complete. Okay, so when we run this, you see we are not going to get the emissions. We are going to get complete as a statement. Why? Because we are waiting for 2 seconds, and within the 2 seconds, these items, they are very sharp. Like, they are very sharp. The emission is very sharp, and it is going to emit this item. It will finish emitting these items even before 1 second. Okay, or even before 1 millisecond, because very sharp. It's emitting one. So how we can simulate the sample operator is, first of all, let's try to zip it with a timer. Okay, let's try to delay the emission for more than, let's say, 2 seconds, and let's see the behavior. So how we can do this is, I like to use zip operator. Then we try to zip it with a timer operator, or like interval operator. So for every 2 seconds, it should emit some one item, and let's see how it's going to behave. I think with this example, we get the clear understanding of the sample operator and how it is being used. So for example, observable interval, and let's wait for every 2 seconds. Okay, every 2 seconds, every 2 seconds takes by function integer, and this is the timer and the integer, the one we are interested. Okay, so let's run this and let's see. We are going to realize that it is going to print. It's going to print the 12. Then the next 2 seconds, 13, 4, 6, up to 5. Why? Because we gave it 2 seconds. So for every 2 seconds, and for every 2 seconds, it should sample. But in here, for every we are trying to get we are trying to delay the emission for every 2 seconds. In that sense, the most recent ones will be the items. I mean the item at that particular index. Okay, so sample operator. Okay, so let's okay. So I think we saw what I was talking about. So after 2 seconds, it emitted. Actually, this 12 will delay for 2 seconds before it will emit. And the sample is being sampled within 2 seconds. So actually, so the most recent item for this emission will be 12. Then it starts another timer. The 13 will delay for 2 seconds before it emits. And the sample is also for 2 seconds. So actually, it's going to emit the items within an array. But what if we are sampling within, let's say, 4 seconds? So let's see the behavior. With the 4 seconds, before the 4 seconds, it has emitted 12 and 13 for the first item. Then it will print 13. Then before the next 4 seconds again, it will emit 4 and 6. Then the sample will give us the most recent item, which is uh which is 6. Yes, which is 7. So now we can see the most recent item like 12, 4, 2. Okay, so the sample operator started with a 12. Then within 4 seconds, 13 and 4 came, and the 4 was the recent one. Then 6 and 7 came, then 7 was the recent. 8 and 2 came, and 2 was the recent. Okay, and 5 wasn't printed because the 5 actually doesn't have accompaniment, so it left it out. Then complete. So guys, so this is how the sample operator works. It always so it depending on the timer. Okay, so depending on the timer that you are giving to this operator, then it will just sample them, then it gives you the recent one. Simple as that. Okay, so today this is what I wanted us to look at for this tutorial, sample operator, and it's very good because in a scenario where maybe you have a whole lot of data and you do not want all of them, all the items at a go, and you just want, maybe we have a flash of emission or a flash of data within a specific time interval, and you do not want all the whole data for your operation, you just want the most recent one. And I think the operator that you should go for is sample operator. Okay, so guys, thank you for staying up with me on these tutorials, and don't forget to subscribe. so that you get the latest of my videos. Thank you very much, and have a happy coding. Bye.